Friday Cube Drop with Simon. Always nice to start with a Mox Pearl here. So what could I potentially wheel that would be good? Wheel of Fortune is good in Storm. The red is good in some blue-red artifact based deck. And Dark Depths is a combo that has some potential. Night's Whisper, Brainstorm are sort of generically good cards. But take the Mox, and of course this does not lock me into white. This is much worse. I have a Watery Grave as an option. Has a nice fixing, and I can get it with fetch lands. There is also Restoration Angel, but the problem with this card is not particularly great in mono white. It's fine, but it's a little too expensive. It can be pretty good to blink some cards like Flicker Wisp, Stoneforge sometimes, Elite Spellbinder. But it's not a card I'm that excited about. I could also take Prismatic Vista. Really safe pick. It goes into every deck except for monocolored, and it's just very good mana fixer. Smuggler's Copter might also be pretty good in mono white, so I think I'm gonna take the safe option in Prismatic Vista. So with a Mox and a Prismatic Vista, I'm pretty open to whatever is coming. So now there's Gideon, Alley of Zendikar. A much more interesting card for mono white than Restoration Angel because it's more aggressive and it's pretty good against control as well. Right, there is also Vendilion Click, Noble Hierarch. Fabian Inspector is a card I could maybe wheel. Fatal Push. Brazen Bar, which I probably like a little bit more than Vendilion Click. And of course, if I take Gideon and go into mono white, I would be abandoning Prismatic Vista. I'm gonna take Gideon because first of all, it could be pretty good in mono white, and second of all, it could also be pretty good in blue white control. Alright, so now there's Fractured Identity. Great card. Containment Priests, more like a sideboard card, but you can also combine it with Parallax Wave. I've seen that being played. I don't think it's great though. I'm gonna take Fractured Identity. Maybe I go into blue-white, then Mox is obviously fantastic here. Because it also fixes your colors, which could be problematic. And Gideon is a fine card in a control deck. You can create a bunch of 2/2s every turn. But it also beats up on other control deck. So... So, Golos is powerful, Spellqueller is good, but Wall of Omens is really nice in blue-white control because it shores up the ground and you're not giving up a card. It cycles and it opens up the door. If I wheel Restoration Angel, it's pretty nice with Wall of Omens as well. I like it more than Spellqueller because Spellqueller is a card that, while it is powerful, it's a little fragile. If your opponent deals with it, they get the spell back. I'm gonna take Wall of Omens. So now there is Temporary Lockdown as a sideboard card. I don't think I want to main deck it. It's a little too narrow, but it is pretty good against mono red, mono white, and mono green. Sun Titan, a little expensive. Nice with Wall of Omens, I suppose. Upheaval, which right now I only have Mox Pearl, but I could maybe pick up some stuff. I think of all these cards, Upheaval has the most potential. Sun Titan is kind of replaceable with other stuff like Consecrated Sphinx, maybe even like a Baneslayer. Okay, so now there is Yorion, which I'm not gonna companion. I think it's very hard to make this a companion. Oust, a solid removal spell, but I like Miscalculation. A pretty flexible card with cycling that can interact early and good to have a cheap card. Alright, so take Taxian Probe here. It's a fine card. And it also makes cards like Snapcaster Mage a little better. It's nice to have a cheap target for Taxian Probe. Alright, so Dark Depths wheel, but I don't think it's that great in a blue-white control deck. You don't want to have lands that can't tap for mana. A control deck is where you suffer the most. I think Daze is a fine card. It's even if you have to return a land, it's pretty nice. Oh, we did wheel Restoration Angel. I will take that. I think it's better than Copter or Spell Pierce. Because I already have Wall of Omens, and you can find some other things. Oh, Thraben Inspector. I think it's better than Viridian Clique once I have Resto. I mean, both are fine with Resto, but I think Thraben Inspector is just solid. Attainment Priest. I'm gonna put it in my sideboard, but if you end up with Flicker Wisp, it's also a combo because you can Flicker Wisp a creature and it doesn't come back. Not sure about this Upheaval. I took it as speculation because a card like Sun Titan is not very high on my radar anyway. I might play it here, but I would also like some Signet, I think. I know Sword Signet would be nice, just to ramp out some of my stuff. I have some interaction. So this deck actually has a game against a lot of things. It's good against aggro with cheap cards. Oh, Spell Queller or Kitchen Finks for the sideboard. I think Spell Queller could be an okay main deck card. And I prefer to take main deck cards over Kitchen Finks. Yes, this is a fragile card, but it's very good against like Storm decks or combo decks because they don't have that much removal. So it interacts while also helps you with the clock. Take it down to Vanguard, but that's not a card for me. And Adeline, maybe. I don't know. It's a very good in mono white, but I'm playing blue here. For sure, and it's a little too... I don't have that many creatures anyway. Alright, we're back, and there's a Signet, but it only taps for white, and I can probably wheel it anyway. Not good Academy deck. Don't think Baral is particularly good. It's nice with Upheaval and Fractured Identity, but I think Ancestral Vision is a good card here. It's a nice way to get some cards back, and suspending it on turn 1 means you're gonna get ahead of your opponent. And yeah, it's okay. Not the best first pick ever in a Vintage Cube, but I think when you got some cheap cards, it's a pretty good controlling card. Alright, you know that I love Remand, and I'm going to take it here. Some mana fixing, but comes into play tapped. Esper Sentinel is... okay, consider okay. I think Remand is the best here, and setting up to be a pretty good Snapcaster Mage deck. There's Splinter Twin, but I think the ship has sailed. I'm very firmly in blue-white here, and I think Preordain is going to be solid. I think also Monastery Mentor could be nice in this deck. Swords to Plowshares would be great. Teferi here of Dominaria would be great. Sword Signet would be good. So my plan with this card was to play mono white, but I ended up being blue white, and it's still fine. So as far as Resto goes, it's a fine card anyway, but you can have Wall of Omens, Thraben Inspector for now. Maybe Spell Queller. The problem with blinking Spell Queller with Resto is that you probably get to recast the spell, but that could be fine. Oh man, Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Don't think I can splash that, even though I have a Prismatic Vista. I think Force of Negation is decent. It protects you from the more unfair stuff. So you can sometimes just slam a Planeswalker or a Fractured Identity, and then a protection from like Sneak Attack or Storm. So, oops. I think Force of Negation is okay, and I have a lot of blue cards anyway. Right now Upheaval doesn't seem to be good, but we shall see. If I get like Mana Drain, Upheaval might be back on the table. Or Mana Vault, Mana Crypt. Alright. So, what do we got? We got Emry with only a Mox, not good enough. Giver of Runes, not a particularly good card in this deck. Murktide Regent, close, but I think Memory Deluge is going to be a fine card advantage card, and alright, so here's Elspeth, which is a pretty good replacement for Sun Titan. I think they are somewhat similar. It is very expensive though, but Scrubland doesn't do much right now. I would have to end up with something like Polluted Delta. And Repeal is not good, neither is Dismember without black, so take Elspeth, and it's okay finisher. Now I would like something like Mana Vault, Mana Crypt, but it's pretty solid as far as finishes go. Oh man, Ashiok. Savaitrion, Selfless Spirit, Lauren. Yeah, Lauren might be fine here. It's a lot of artifact enchantments, and you can blink it with Resto potentially. As last ability, who knows? Oh, Karakas is a very nice card when you're already in white, because you're not having to give up much to play like a card that hosts legends. Batterskull with Stoneforge, sure, but I'm not even sure I'm gonna get Stoneforge, and not enough creatures for opposition. It's very nice also to get a land. I mean, and I might take Steel Serp against mono red. You can play it as 3 mana flying that gets lifelink to something, maybe itself, but it's a sideboard card. Not good enough to main deck. And in my I mean, as only deck I would bring in Steel Serp against is mono red. I'm not gonna bring it in against mono white. I don't think it's good enough. But I guess it is a combo with Resto. You play it for free and then you blink it. Alright, Esper Sentinel, kind of whatever. I'm just gonna take Sparse Headquarters as mana fixing. It's also cycles. Could be nice to have another mana fixer. I only have Vista for now. And there's a tech, you can return this with Daze and then cycle it. Combo. So I got 16 non-land permanents. I count the Mox as a land. Guitar Commander again. I think it's worse than Lauren, honestly, because Lauren stays in play. Spectral Procession is a little too weak. Land tax could be something to bring in on the draw in some matchups. So I'm playing against a black deck that playing a lot of discard spell, like Hymns. Could play this on the draw. It's not completely inconceivable. Yeah, Hero Runes. Not for this type of white deck, it's just... What am I even looking to protect? Yeah, sure, Spell Queller, but... Most of my creatures don't care if they die or so. But I think mono white looks a little bit open, to be fair. And Birthing Pod. Okay, so as much as I like Ponder, this is a great time to pick up Small Teferi. Just a fantastic card and really can annoy your opponent's counter spells. Grim Monolith is nice with Elspeth, maybe Upheaval, but I'm not even sure I'm gonna play Elspeth, and Teferi is just too good. Alright, we don't have a sweeper, so it's either Wrath of God or Blade Splice. Blade Splice is good with Resto, it's just a fine card, but I think this deck could use a sweeper. I got card advantage, which Ancestor Vision, Memory Deluge, so I could probably use a sweeper here. Yeah, there is a Azorius Signet. So to play Lurrus, I would have to give up too much. I would have to give up Spell Queller, Lauren, Teferi, Resto, Gideon, Elspeth. Yeah. Azorius Signet is nice. It ramps me to my good cards. It fixes my mana. It is better than Mana Leak or Naked Lurrus. I mean, Naked Lurrus in the sense that not a companion. But Azorius Signet, I said I wanted it, and now I got it. Ooh, Swords to Plowshares, fantastic. Really good. I mean, better than Counterspell. Because it gives me something that this deck lacks, which is super cheap creature interaction. I already have Remand, Daze, Miscalc, Force of Negation, so this deck needs Swords of Plowshares more. Oh, Path is much worse than Swords, because I don't care about my opponent's life total until I'm ready to control the game. Stoneforge, the problem is that Batterskull is gone. Let's just make my mana much better with Searoom Coast. I think Thieving Diver would be good, but I like me a mana fixer at this point. This is a very color intensive deck. Look at my cards. I have double blue when you want to hardcast it, double white, double blue, blue, white. A lot of different colors. So having a card like this is nice. Alright, the Wandering Emperor is not bad at all. If I had Ancestral Timewalk, I might take Spellseeker, but I think Spellseeker is just a little too clunky for this deck. Whereas Wandering Emperor is really nice. Both Ravager's War and Armageddon. Here's the Thespian stage, but of course it's Dark Depths is gone. Mother of Runes has some of the same problems as Giver of Runes. I don't have enough creatures. Let's just take Gilded Drake against some matchups. Reanimator, for example. Oh, there is Flicker Wisp, the card I was talking about. It's a combo with Containment Priest. It's also just a decent card. It's either that or Mana Tithe. But Flicker Wisp works with Wall of Omens, Raven Inspector. Can sometimes work with Loran. Can even get a little bit of a loop with Resto. So alternative is Mana Tithe, but I think Flicker Wisp is nice. Also Precious Planeswalkers, and my mana is good, so I can play a double white card. So I just want one more play. Well, I could now play Container Priest if I wanted to, just because it's a fine card to host some archetypes, and it combos with Flicker Wisp. Sure, Elite Spellbinder, better than Rin Wingmare. Of course, if you specifically play against Storm, you'd rather have Rin Wingmare, but Elite Spellbinder is a nice card here. It also combos with Flicker Wisp and Resto. Alright, Blade Splicer. Maybe I cut Elspeth, I think it's a little too expensive. Blade Splicer seems like a better card. Alright, Lurrus, Usher, Mana Leak. Lurrus against Mono Red, I guess. Don't need Mana Leak here. I think I already have better cards. It's looking like a pretty nice tight package. I wish I had something like Jace the Mind Sculptor, but Baneslayer. I'm very set up against Mono Red in the mirror, but looks like a good blue-white control deck. I think Daze is gonna be good. I have a lot of cards that I'm gonna tap out for, so it's nice to have interaction while tapped out. A lot of creatures I can cast, and this deck is gonna be fantastic against Mono Red. I think just the main deck is good, and then I have some great sideboard cards. Also gonna be good against Mono White. Mono Green could be a little tougher, but I still have a lot of interaction. Wrath, Swords, Camera Spells, and yeah, Stoneforge, Thieving Skydiver. I think I prefer to have Loran over Thieving Skydiver because it can blow up more expensive things more cheaply than Thieving Diver can steal them. And Thieving Diver is not a combo with Resto or Flicker Wisp, whereas Flicker Wisp can just make Loran get you another target. Ravages. Alright. Good. Fine. It's not the greatest, but my 3-4-5 punch is pretty good. And because of that, I'm gonna play Spara's Headquarters turn 1. Because I want to make sure to cast my cards. It's a little slow to get going, but I think Fractured Angel is a card that can catch me up quite a bit. And Blaze Blast crits 2 bodies. Gideon hopefully crits a lot of bodies. You could also emblem Gideon. But we shall see. Alright, so blue-green. Might be siding in some cards. I'm not sure exactly what, but hopefully I can fracture it into something expensive. I wish I had that temporary lockdown now, maybe. Although the problem with temporary lockdown is that there's a lot of cards that does not get hit by that. Wasteland is gonna be annoying, it's gonna time walk me, but opponent Trinket Mage from Mox Pearl, okay. We are in some trouble, I would say, especially with that Wasteland. Gonna almost feel like a time walk here when my opponent plays the Mox. It's a good play for my opponent to not play the Mox because I don't have it in my hand, but I have Lauren in my deck, so it's unnecessary to play the Mox. So if you want some lesson, you don't have to play the Mox just because you have it in your hand. Because counter spells against Moxes is not something that you should particularly worry about. Oh, Force Open, okay. Opponent removed Baral, so maybe this is some blue-green storm action. But why would you play Wasteland then? Yeah, just might be blue-green control, blue-green opposition. Wasteland's gonna hurt though. Jace Rune's Prodigy, that's a problem. So what I may be able to do is fracture the entity this when it's flipped, and then I can I get the flipped copy, I think. Alright, we're not doing much here. So right now the only card my opponent could flashback is Brainstorm. I mean, this game teaches you how important it is to be fast in Vintage Cube. The fact that I didn't have anything to play until turn 3 actually was really bad at this hand. So should I have Mulligan? I'm not sure, but okay. Time Warp. That's the card you can flashback. I almost want to concede here, but I could maybe draw like Wrath of God, but even then I have to deal with Jace. Alright, let's just see some more cards. Because obviously Gideon doesn't do much here. I'm too far behind. Yeah, it's gonna create some 2/2s, but opponent probably flashback his Time Warp. Then it can attack me for free and free again. We're down to 1 card in hand, so maybe there's a small chance. So you're saying there's a chance? Yeah, it's gonna get to flashback 2 cards here though if opponent wants to. And you usually only get to flashback 1 card. But opponent wants to keep Jace in play, okay. So now do I play Gideon or do I play Memory Deluge? Not sure. I think Gideon's not gonna be good enough. I think I'd rather dig with Memory Deluge. The problem is if Gideon make a 2/2, my opponent just attacks, it goes down to 1. I don't know, maybe it is better to play Gideon. And then I can maybe fracture the entity after that. Alright, let's just play Gideon. Change my mind. Make a knight, and I'm not gonna shump because if I don't shump, maybe I can double block. Although Jace does make that hard. Noble Arcus is awesome here. It gives Exalted and taps for mana. But, okay. Okay. Maybe I can fracture that entity something. At least now my life total is not under that much pressure anymore. Opponent last card is Ugin. Oh, Coma. Alright, well. This is gonna be interesting because I can fracture that entity that. Let's make sure to make this before Coma gets activated. Alright, Coma can get indestructible but cannot get hexproof, I believe. So we have a game. We have a game. So my opponent gets to flashback Brainstorm. But opponent is Hellbent. I could tap Jace here and prevent that. Actually, I probably should. Yeah, I think it's worth it. Tapping it doesn't matter, but can't activate any of it because Brainstorm digs my opponent a lot of cards. And I think that's more important given this indestructible against blue-green. It's not that much that kills it. I might have to stop in my opponent's upkeep. That worked out nice. Alright. Might start plussing Gideon pretty soon. Polucrans. Okay. Opponent has access to 4 more mana, so can monsters for 1 here, which doesn't kill anything. And this is not going to be able to kill Coma for a lot of reasons, but alright, so now what? I think I should main phase Memory Deluge to see what I can get. Maybe I can find Source of Plowshares. I think it's better to do this now. Alright, Resto. You don't want to Resto Coma. He just dies. You get Spell Queller or... Huh, this is tough. I think... Honestly, I'm not sure Wandering Emperor is that good here. So how about... Resto is still a big flyer that can... I don't know. Maybe... So I have 5 mana next one I have 7 mana. So one of the cards is going to be Spell Queller. The question is, do I want Wandering Emperor or Resto? I could also use... No, actually, I'm going to take Wandering Emperor because I can combine it with Coma to kill anything. So let's just take those cards. And Resto is not doing much here, honestly. It's just a 3/4 flash flyer. I think Wandering Emperor is better. So do I wanna... Nah, I think I'm just gonna make an ally. And again, I'm gonna tap Jace. I'm not gonna tap Polukranos because 6, 7, 8. My opponent can make it monstrous and kill 1 Knight or a Coma. I don't think that's particularly important. And I'm ahead 1 Serpent every cycle this happens because I'm sacrificing 1 but I'm getting a Coma every turn. So you can activate Polukranos, I think that's okay. You can only kill 1 thing, can't kill Coma. Gives my opponent a land, so now 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can kill 2 Knights, but I just don't care about that. And alright, so right, feel pretty good because I have both Wandering Emperor and Spell Queller. Alright, and also can flashback Memory Deluge maybe, but right now Polukranos can become big, so I should just make another ally. I'm gonna attack pretty soon, but I want my opponent to activate Polukranos. I'm gonna respond with activating Coma and casting Wandering Emperor. Alright, tap that. And then my opponent doesn't get to fight. Spell Queller for almost anything. Something like Upheaval could be annoying, but... Okay, so next turn I'm gonna start attacking with a lot of things. Because I could still lose to something like Upheaval, Spell Queller. I'm gonna counter that. Because the problem, if I let it resolve, my opponent could maybe find something that does cost more than... And since it was enough for the concession, I like to play. So... Doesn't deal with Coma, because it can get regenerated. Attainment Priest. Does not mess up Fractured Identity. So... No, I mean... I think we're good. So I could have brought in Containment Priest, considering this hand is awesome, by the way. Considering something like Natural Order, but I didn't see it. Yeah, I should make the cards less. Was a good tip from one of my listeners. So I can... okay. We both will have a Mox. Opponent has Baral. You know what Karakas does to Baral? Yeah, I should just... do this now to prevent my opponent from getting a mana. And next time I can cast Teferi. I'm waiting on Probe because I want... Oh, I'm gonna have to force a negation then. Another reason to not use the Probe, because that would just been backbreaking. I'm gonna plus Teferi. I don't need to draw a card right now. Next turn I might bounce. If it's something other than Barom. Here you can see why Karakas is so insane, because it also bounces Polukranos. And Coma. I think Coma is legendary, but I could be wrong. Okay, that's not a card I'm super interested in bouncing. Sensei's Divine. Okay. Lamb would be nice. Alright, Wall of Omens is not horrible. I think I like to start with that, see what happens. And keeping up white, because I have white card in my hand, whereas I could maybe draw. Yeah. I could also bounce my old Wall of Omens, but I think I can do that maybe next turn. Teferi on 6 is hard to deal with. Karakas MVP. Or my opponent has Wasteland, has to be said. Opponent has Wasteland, so this is not a lock by any means. Okay. Don't have to worry about instants. Sure. Oh, it's Shard, of course. Okay, I see. It's Shard, of course. My opponent didn't want to discard a card. I see. Okay, so now what? Opponent has 1 mana left with Baral, but can't cast any instants at instant speed at least. Can still cast instants, but... Alright, so there's a land. I think I'm going to slow down my opponent a little bit here by returning an old Hierarch. I still have 1 activation off. Ooh, Rest is nice. So I could play Gideon, start activating it, or I could play Resto and maybe... But I'm not gonna get to ambush anything. I could also Elite Spellbinder, see what's up, and then Karak. I think I like that better. Seems like a good turn. And I can maybe Resto Elite Spellbinder. Alright. Bushwhack, Sword, Noble, Dig through Time. So, Sword of Fire and Ice doesn't do much. I mean, yeah, I can make Trinket Mage a 4/4, but I have a bunch of Charm blocks. I think I'm gonna make Noble more expensive and then turn Baral. Like 4. No. So now if my opponent plays an equip, I can double block. The same opponent draws a land and plays an equip, I can double block. Because it's the Fire and Ice. Doesn't actually give protection from anything relevant right now. So, okay. So I think my opponent is playing Sensitive Wind to have another target for Trinket Mage in case you draw the Mox, which happened in this game. But Sensitive Wind is not particularly fantastic in Cube, I don't think. Bushwhack for Forests. I guess get shuffle away the top now. Probably good. So, right. That Force of Negation was clutch. I would have probably just lost to Oko otherwise. So, Baral. Okay. Very far away from Dig through Time though. Alright, let's start by plussing to Fairy. Attack with Elite Spellbinder and... So, Baral makes Dig cheaper. But am I even that worried about Dig through Time? So the question is, do I want to cast Gideon? Or do I want to play Resto Blinking Elite Spellbinder? 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I do that, I'm just gonna do this now, because if I don't do it now, my opponent could respond with Dig through Time. Oh, okay, can't because of the Fear. So that was just a mistake, I guess. Forgot about the Fairy. Oh well. So my opponent has Remand, which does nothing, and Comb. Okay, fine. Very nice to be on the play. Sure. See if Karakas can do some insanity in this game too. Not that it was insane last game, but bouncing Baral for free is just ridiculous for a land. That still comes into play untapped. Preordain looking for non-lands here. Oh, Wrath of God. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put Wrath on the bottom but Blade Splicer on the top because I have Resto for Blade Splicer. So those were not the sickest of cards I wanted, but still fine. Vooded Efutiles. I hope this is mono red. But well, maybe Ragavan. Ragavan I just bounce with Karakas. No, it's Bayou. Okay. Might be a Utopias. Wow. Okay. Chooses red. So this is Yond. Alright, I have Remand now. I could play Karakas, but I don't want to expose it to Wasteland. And secondly, it might make my opponent play out a legend that you wouldn't do otherwise. Alright, I'm gonna allow that because it seems like everyone has a Mox per. Be my last opponent and this opponent. But remanding a Mox is usually not a good idea. Well, it was quite nice though, it sort of bridges my... I'm just gonna remand that. It's oh wait, can I Caracas? Yeah, I can Caracas that later, baby, but still makes 1 once. But I think I can Caracas that. Days, huh? I'm not sure. It might just be a. I don't think I can Caracas Grist now that I think about it. But oh well. I'm gonna put some creatures on the board though. Might make Grist worse. Uh-oh. Yeah, we're gonna daze that. Even though I have a swords, this is my chance to daze, and it messes up my curve, but what are you gonna do? Because if I don't, my opponent just kills one of my creatures for free, it seems. Not so good. Yeah, I'm gonna still... No, actually, you know what? I'm gonna play Caracas. My reasoning is, what if my opponent plays like Hymn to Torak, Mind Twist, or some other cards? I think exposing it's not a big deal, but I might want to have it access to it if my opponent plays a legend here, because next time I want to play Rest. So I think... Uh-oh. Okay, so you can kill my Blade Splicer. Sure. That does make Resto worse, but can't kill my 3/3. Do I want to Swords that? Nah, I think I can. Since I'm the controller with an Ancestral Resurrection Suspend, I can just block it with the Golem. So let's play Gideon, make a dude. Play a little controlling here, because next turn I have access to Resto plus Swords. Well, I couldn't play Gideon and Swords unless I draw a white Swords. Alright, so let's see if my opponent plays Grist and... Alright, that's good. But depends also what my opponent has. But my opponent's gonna get access to the best card in the deck, which is scary. But Mind Twist, for example. Get all my cards. But even then, I will still have Ancestral Vision, Suspend, Gideon, and have the Caracas in play. Oh, well, I have Caracas at least. Alright, let's see here. Unfortunately, no attacks. Huh? Okay, wanna protect Minsc and Boo, I suppose. But it's gonna be nice. I can now Caracas, Boo, Swords, Shriekmaw, and kill Minsc and Boo. Wow, Caracas. MVP. Alright, so let's start by returning that. Yoink. I could also just plus Gideon, maybe. Attack everything on Minsc and Boo. Hold up everything. Because then I can also hold up Resto. Yeah, that's probably better. Could also Emblem Gideon, but then if I wanna... I really have to kill Minsc and Boo here. It's tempting to go for my opponent's face, but... You know, I'm still at 20. I think that as long as I keep the most threatening cards my opponent can play off my back, I should be able to close the game pretty fast. And Shriekmaw has Fear, so I can't ambush it with Resto. And I'm gonna take 3 for now. Oh, Gideon is getting attacked. Alright, well, that's okay. I think I'd much rather play Resto and maybe even have lethal. 5, 8, 10, 13. No, it's not quite lethal, but it's a lot of damage. Yeah, of course you attack Gideon. That's obvious when you're at... when I'm at 20. Okay, so can't Caracas this. But yeah, I think... I can't even miscalculate, but...
And unfortunately, both my creatures are tokens, so if my opponent wants to kill... I can't blink it with Rest. I can, but it doesn't do anything. Okay, do I want to miscalc this? Yeah, I think so. Because what else am I miscalculating? Next turn I think Ancestral Vision is coming out, so I don't need to... I have this game. Okay, yeah. Opponent came to the same conclusion. So my opponent is Young Planeswalkers. Seems like. I could play Thieving Skydiver and steal the Mox, maybe. But I didn't see much else. Might as well just lore on it instead. A Containment Priest. Doesn't do anything, doesn't stop Minsc and Boo. Because there are tokens. Want that Glorybringer too. Could put in land tax. And like a matchup that could be decent. Yeah. I'm gonna keep this. I could put in land tax on the draw, but it's only good on the... Basically, mostly good in the opening hand. And if you draw it late, I don't have any looters, I don't think. Also, it's not even clear. I didn't even see him or Mind Twists. Yeah, this one is solid, it's nothing special, but it's got interaction and pulled mulligan. So the question is, do I leave it Seeker and open myself up to Wasteland? Also, what kind of cards are my Force of Negation? I'm not Force of Negation in Utopia Sprawl, that's just too weak. Especially now my opponent doesn't even have a Forest. Yeah, I think if Mod has Wasteland, that's fine. Also Demonic Tutor, I'm not gonna Force a Negation. I can just Force a Negation the card your opponent gets. Because my opponent probably gets Minsc and Boo or something. I can maybe even Force a Negation it, miscalculate, remand it. Yeah, my opponent could get a land with Demonic Tutor, but I don't know if my opponent is mana screwed, so... Definitely not want to Force a Negation and waste a card where I can just chill and deal with it later. Opponent is in the tank, so maybe it's not obvious. Alright, that could be nice later. I have no creatures, no pressure, but I don't need to. I have so much good interaction. So now the question is, do I miscalc? Oh, there's a Saga, that could be good. That's really good here because it plays around all my counters. But so do I remand or miscalc? That's a card I want to deal with eventually. You know what? I kind of like remanding because that might tempt my opponent to play that next turn instead of making a creature to a Saga, and I want that. Alright, so I can play Thraben Inspector, hold open miscalc, or I can hold up a 4, so I can play Blade Splicer. I'm gonna play Thraben Inspector, and if my opponent does nothing, I can crack the clue. So I can miscalc most annoying things like Minsc and Boo. But okay, my opponent's gonna make tokens here. That makes sense. I might have to draw Wrath of God at some point. Oh, that's not bad. I can play that and play Blade Splicer so I can still hold open. I can make a 1/1 here. I probably just attack them. I think holding open miscalc is enough. Especially since my opponent probably makes a construct in response. Yeah, make another construct. It's gonna become a 3/3. So that there's a Saga card. It's gonna get Mox now, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so I can, for now, deal with it with my 3/3 first striker, but I'm gonna have to counter an artifact here. I'm gonna... Doesn't do much right now, but could I allow that? Can't attack. You know what? I think I'm gonna allow that because it doesn't do anything right now. Against my 3/3 first striker, and it's a little risky, but also if I draw Wrath of God, I'd rather save my counter spells. And I can play Resto to Blink Blade Splicer. Library. That's annoying. It's gonna draw my opponent a lot of extra cards. Yeah, I'm gonna force a negation it. Because I still have Miscalc. Alright, Miscalc that. Behold could just sacrifice the Mox to kill my... Alright, so now I'm running out of action, but still holding the fort with my 3/3 and my Resto. Hope my opponent runs out of action soon, but we shall see. We have a Chupacabra. Alright. Hopefully I can Resto, Blink Blade Splicer and ambush Layla without any further trouble. Not attacking with those, huh? I think I should respond with the Resto, just so my opponent, if my opponent hits something cheap. Alright, cheap burn. Oh, land rails, okay. I'll block like this in case my opponent has removal. Alright, so looking good now because I can play Memory Deluge next turn, dig for good stuff, and although Graveyard Trespass is a card I'm a little worried about. So how about I play my Pearl and then I'm not gonna cast Memory Deluge because yes I could hit something, but I rather... I don't think I'm attacking either. The reason I'm not casting Memory Deluge main deck is because of Graveyard Trespass. Also, I might want to get Wrath of God depending on what happens. Let's say my opponent plays a Glorybringer here. I may want to Memory Deluge and find Wrath of God. Because Glorybringer would kind of make this board state very unstable. There's not that many cards I wanted to play anyway. Maybe Teferi. Teferi bounces Construct, but we shall see. Opponent disconnected. Alright, my opponent never came back. Couldn't take the pressure. Alright. Swords, Wrath, Planeswalker, Identity. Not great, but I think doesn't get that much better if I mulligan on average. You can't mulligan too aggressively with the control deck either, because my deck doesn't have any singular card that's super crazy important. I'm not a combo deck, and one turn too late, but it's still fine. 2 draw accessories. But my deck is not. While I have some cards that are better than others, it's not like I have one super gamepad I have to mulligan to every game. Alright, land is nice. Alright, so Wandering Emperor might get flashed in. Might be a Jeskai control deck. Don't want to see a Teferi here. Fable is annoying, but it's doable. So I could probably want to Swords that. I have to deal with the 2/2 later, but alright, that was convenient. I think Gideon is better than Wandering Emperor here, because Wandering Emperor doesn't have any exiling to do right now, and I might be able to use Wandering Emperor as a combat trick at some point. But Gideon is gonna put some pressure on. This Wrath of God is looking a little awkward here, just because I have so much on the board stuff. But Inkwell, huh? Okay. Might wanna sideboard in Containment Priest, because that might be a Tinker in my opponent's deck. Or some Goblin Welder. And Containment Priest is good against that. The red, yeah, okay, so now I'm gonna board in Containment Priest. For sure. But I can kill the ready with Gideon next turn, though. And I don't want to do that because I don't want to bring back Inkwell. Island of Braid. Good thing my opponent didn't have a Mox, because then could have. Alright, so I think it all starts with killing the ready. Attack, 5/5. Attacks the ready, attack you. And then I have the option of either casting Elite Spellbinder or Wandering Emperor. Not exactly sure. Wandering Emperor works better if I have to cast Wrath of God. But Elite Spellbinder might take some important card. I think I'm gonna Elite Spellbinder here. Let's see what's up. Oh. Force of Negation, Mana Leak, Mentor, Ugin. My opponent has access to 5 mana. Huh. So, getting a... And if I exile this, you can't pay the alternative cost, right? Oh yeah, you can, I think. So, this is interesting. Because... No, I'm thinking I should take Mana Leak. The reason is, if I take Mana Leak, my opponent can no longer cast the alternative cost of Force of Negation, unless my opponent top decks a blue card. But also, if I take Mana Leak, my opponent can't just play Mentor and keep Mana Leak open. Have to choose, and my opponent kind of has to develop the board. If I take Mentor, my opponent probably just plays it, and then keeps open Force of Negation. So I think taking Mana Leak here is good. It means Mana Leak also costs 4 mana. So we shall see. And Ugin is just too... My opponent needs to top deck something very good to cast Ugin. I don't think I should play around it. Also, I could maybe Fracture Identity. So my opponent played the island. Oh, my opponent played the island, but has a mountain in hand, I think. Yeah. So now I know my opponent's entire hand. Mana Leak is in exile. Now my opponent can't force a negation unless... Yeah. Oh, that's sick. So, Fear is gonna be good here. So opponent has force negation which you can't cast. Ugin Mountain. So I think I cast Teferi. And then so I think I actually return Reflection because that turns it back into the original mode, and then I think I will make an ally. I could have bounced Mentor too, but no, I should not. I think in case my opponent gets a prowess trigger. Now with the Teferi down, my opponent can no longer force a negation. Plateau. That's one opponent's hand. Alright. So yeah, this is complicated, but I think I'm setting up Teferi. Ramon was a 6 draw, by the way. Setting up Teferi, Wrath of God, end of turn, and then maybe Fractured Identity and Ugin. Plus, so I think I'm setting up a little bit of a trap here. Then like embleming here. And I can flash in Wandering Emperor. Alright, let's go. Now Wandering Emperor makes 3 freeze as well. But got rid of force negation makes sense. Opponent's hand is Mountain Ugin, has mana leak and extra, which does nothing with the Teferi in play. So could attack with Goblin to suicide a Goblin to cast Ugin, but I have Ramon. So. Winter Orb. Okay. That's an interesting play. I think that is fine. I think that matters a lot. Let's give a prowess trigger, I guess, but it's gonna be a little annoying, but I don't really need to cast that many more spells anyway. I only need to make sure Ugin doesn't resolve. And the last card is Incinerate on Teferi. Okay. Well, there isn't much you can do about that. Remoning it doesn't matter too much. Could Fractured Identity too, but don't need to do it right now. Because I still have Teferi's Plus working here. Opponent still has Ugin. Right, so I could Fractured Identity, but I think I want to save that. I think I'm gonna cast Wandering Emperor. Make a token. One's hand is Ugin. Lock. Yeah. Alright. let's plus Gideon and try to finish this game. This forces my opponent to make some blocks. Yeah. And then I'm just gonna have to remand Ugin, and Force of Negation is first of all gone, and second of all you can't alternate cost with on your turn. And my opponent can't even cast Ugin right now with Winter Orb. Right. What is this, and do I care? Yeah, I think I care. That would be decent, but just this game. Opponent says while playing Force Negation by himself. Alright, let's bring in Containment Priest. But what do I remove? Because even if there isn't a Tinker, I saw the red, which it works against. What is bad? I like Lauren. But of God, it still is an auto Inkwell, so I should probably keep it, especially on the draw. Maybe Daze isn't the greatest on the draw. Yeah, okay, fine. And I just replace it with a 2-mana play. Roar, roar, I'm a dinosaur. Oh well. I think this is a decent matchup. Yeah, this hand is great. I mean, 1/3 land, but Preordain, Miscalc, Containment, Teferi. Can't ask for much more. Just a land, which I can find with Preordain. Of course, Winter Orb would be a little... Oh, there's a land. So now I don't have to Preordain for lands. I think a Remand is a fine draw at some point. It's a blue card I can pitch to Force of Negation if I have to. I'm not even sure I would Force of Negation Winter Orb here though. Oh no. Giddy up. Okay. Now what? Tanglewire. Okay. You know what? I don't care. I still have Force. It would be I could use the Let Resolve and cast Teferi, but I actually couldn't. I could counter it and cast it Teferi, but I don't care about Tanglewire. It's just minor annoyance, I think. Because it hurts my opponent too a little bit. And I have a Containment Priest to tap, and next turn I'm gonna get to keep 2 mana open. Opponent stacked it correctly though. You want to remove the counter first, which my opponent did successfully. Sure, alright. I mean, I could counter that, but maybe the Containment Priest doesn't even do that much. And I still have, this way I get to keep Force of Negation as well. I'm just gonna wait out this Tanglewire and hope, and then I'm up a card. Because my opponent just wasted a card. If the Tanglewire doesn't do anything. So next turn I have to tap 2 cards. Which means I can keep open 2 mana. 3 mana even. Okay. So here's why I allow time. My opponent hasn't done anything, which means the Tanglewire didn't really do anything. Right. Okay, so
I'm not gonna cast Teferi into open mana here, I'm just gonna pass. And soon Tangle Wire would just go away. But there are some combos with Tangle Wire like Goblin Welder and stuff. But right. I think I'm not gonna cycle Miscalc. I wanna. Alright. So let's probe first, see what's up, paying life. See if my opponent has Git probe. Maybe. Okay, force of negation. Whatever. No problem. I guess it works out because Teferi means it's gonna plus it to play around burn spells and your move. Because I'm pretty insulated against most things here. Anyway, it's down to nothing. Bribery. I'm gonna start with Remaning and then maybe I can force a negation hard cost next turn. Although, if my opponent bribery is me, I could maybe bring the creature back with Teferi, I suppose. But alright. So, what could my opponent get with bribery that would be devastating? I have to trash talk a little bit back here. So if my opponent briberies me, what could my opponent get that would be gross for me? I could just Teferi the card back. So what do I have that I can't just Teferi it back? Resto doesn't matter, Loran doesn't matter, Flickerwisp doesn't matter. Alright, you know what, I'm gonna allow this. I don't think it does anything. I can just bounce it back with Teferi. Hopefully I'm not missing anything here, but alright, that doesn't matter. I feel like trash talking a little bit here. Oh man. Oh, I tapped 1 mana too much. Oh well. Ugin Mentor. Alright. Alright. So my opponent has Mentor, which can cast Goblin Welder. That's a card, but Tangle Wire still doesn't do anything. Oh well. So how do I finish this game? Plus Caracas, Gideon, ally. There's a small chance now, probably not. But let's say my opponent top decks an incredibly good artifact creature. And then if I counter it, my opponent can weld it back. But doesn't have any artifact in place, so no, never mind. My opponent is dead. Shard, of course. Just gonna force it. Didn't have to, but alright. Plus plus yeah. Yeah. Have it lethal next turn. Avalanche Riders resolve. Can't even counter it. Alright, that was a good draft Blue-White Control. See you next week.